Nelson Mandela's story is one of the most inspiring examples of resilience and determination in the face of overwhelming adversity. Born in 1918 in a small village in South Africa, he grew up during a time when his country was deeply divided by racial segregation. The system of apartheid was brutally enforced, denying basic rights to non-white citizens and creating a society built on inequality and oppression. Mandela could have easily accepted the status quo, living a quiet life without challenging the unjust system. But he was determined to fight for freedom, justice, and equality for all people, regardless of the cost. Mandela's journey as a leader and freedom fighter began when he joined the African National Congress, or ANC, in the early 1940s. He quickly became a prominent voice in the struggle against apartheid, advocating for non-violent resistance. But as the government cracked down on protests with increasing brutality, Mandela realized that more direct action was necessary. He co-founded the ANC's armed wing, Umkhonto we Sizwe, to launch a sabotage campaign against government installations. It was a difficult decision, one that weighed heavily on him, but he believed it was the only way to bring attention to the plight of his people. In 1962, Mandela was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment for his involvement in the anti-apartheid movement. He was sent to Robben Island, a desolate prison off the coast of Cape Town, where he would spend 18 of his 27 years behind bars. The conditions were harsh, with prisoners subjected to hard labor, limited contact with the outside world, and frequent abuse from the guards. For many, such an experience would have broken their spirit, but Mandela's resolve only grew stronger. He used his time in prison to study, to reflect, and to strengthen his commitment to the cause. One of the most remarkable aspects of Mandela's resilience was his ability to maintain his hope and optimism despite the dire circumstances. He believed deeply in the possibility of a free and equal South Africa, and he never lost sight of that vision. He continued to lead and inspire others from within the prison walls, earning the respect of his fellow inmates and even some of the prison guards. His calm demeanor, unwavering principles, and willingness to forgive his oppressors became legendary. During his years in prison, Mandela also demonstrated incredible emotional resilience. He was separated from his family, missing the birth of his children and the deaths of loved ones. He was isolated from the movement he had helped build, unable to directly influence the events unfolding outside. Yet, he never allowed bitterness or despair to consume him. He chose to focus on what he could control, his own mindset and actions. He kept his mind sharp, his body healthy, and his spirit strong. He knew that he was not just fighting for his own freedom, but for the freedom of millions of people. As the years passed, the anti-apartheid movement grew stronger, and international pressure on the South African government intensified. By the late 1980s, it was clear that change was inevitable. In 1990, after 27 years in prison, Nelson Mandela was finally released. The world watched as he walked out of Victor Verster prison, his fist raised in a symbol of victory and defiance. But Mandela's greatest challenge was yet to come. He now had to lead his country through a difficult and often painful transition from apartheid to democracy. Many feared that South Africa would descend into chaos and violence, but Mandela's leadership was crucial in steering the nation toward reconciliation and peace. Despite having every reason to harbor resentment and seek revenge, Mandela chose a different path. He advocated for forgiveness, unity, and dialogue, working tirelessly to heal the deep wounds left by decades of racial division. His willingness to negotiate and compromise, to work with the very people who had once oppressed him, showed an extraordinary level of maturity and vision. Mandela's resilience was not just about surviving hardship but about using his experiences to inspire others and to create a better future. He understood that true leadership is not about power or prestige, but about service and sacrifice. He led by example, showing that even the most entrenched systems of injustice can be overcome through courage, perseverance, and an unshakable belief in the dignity of all people. His humility, his ability to see the humanity in his enemies, and his dedication to his ideals made him a beacon of hope, not just for South Africans, but for people around the world. In 1994, South Africa held its first democratic elections, and Nelson Mandela became the country's first black president. It was a momentous occasion, the culmination of decades of struggle and sacrifice. But even as president, Mandela continued to face challenges. The country was still deeply divided, and there were many who wanted revenge, who wanted to punish those responsible for the crimes of apartheid. But Mandela remained committed to his vision of a united South Africa. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to address the atrocities committed under apartheid, believing that the only way to move forward was through truth and forgiveness. Mandela's life is a powerful reminder of the importance of resilience and determination in the face of adversity. He faced nearly 3 decades of imprisonment, the loss of countless friends and comrades, and the constant threat of violence and death. Yet, he never wavered in his commitment to justice and equality. He never allowed his spirit to be broken, and he never gave up on his dream of a free and democratic South Africa. His story teaches us that resilience is not just about enduring hardship. It's about using those hardships to grow, to learn, and to inspire others. It's about holding on to hope, even when the road ahead seems impossible. It's about believing in something greater than yourself, something worth fighting for, and being willing to sacrifice everything for that belief. Mandela's resilience was rooted in his deep sense of purpose and his unwavering faith in humanity. He believed that people are not born hating one another, but that they learn to hate, and that if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. He saw the good in people, even those who had wronged him, and he believed in the possibility of change. This belief fueled his resilience, giving him the strength to endure and the wisdom to lead. For anyone watching this, Nelson Mandela's life is a testament to the power of resilience, forgiveness, and leadership. It shows us that no matter how difficult our circumstances, we have the power to rise above them. It reminds us that true strength is not about never falling, but about getting back up every time we do. And it teaches us that even in the darkest of times, we can choose to be a light, to be a force for good, and to make a difference in the world. Mandela's story is not just about one man's struggle. It's about the resilience of the human spirit. It's about the belief that we can overcome any obstacle, no matter how great, if we are determined enough. It's about the courage to stand up for what is right, even when it's difficult, even when it seems impossible. And it's about the power of forgiveness, the strength to let go of hatred and bitterness, and the vision to see a better future, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Here are some powerful quotes from Nelson Mandela that reflect his views on resilience and overcoming adversity. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. It always seems impossible until it's done. I never lose. I either win or learn. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Resilience is not the absence of difficulties. It's about how we respond to them. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. These quotes encapsulate Mandela's belief in the power of resilience, the importance of perseverance, and the impact of our actions on ourselves and others. So, if you're facing a challenge right now, if you're struggling with something that seems insurmountable, remember Nelson Mandela. Remember his resilience, his determination, and his unbreakable spirit. Remember that you, too, have that same resilience within you. You, too, can overcome whatever obstacles you're facing. And you, too, can be a force for good in this world, no matter what your circumstances may be. Because resilience wins battles, and Nelson Mandela's life is proof that, with enough determination and courage, we can achieve the impossible. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content on personal growth and achieving your goals.